Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am here at my mom's dry camping. She doesn't have any hookups. So I am doing what everybody calls boondocking. I am not connected to shore power. I am not connected to water. Therefore, I have to conserve my battery life in the RV. So today I'm going to give you some tips on how you can boondock too. We're going to talk about conserving on water, battery life at night, running our generators, and using propane. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're coming along, and I hope these tips will help you to boondock as well. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. The very first thing I do in the mornings is make my cup of coffee. And, I try to use my propane as much as possible since that's what lasts the longest. So instead of plugging in a coffee maker or anything like that, I simply heat up a cup of hot water on the stove in this kettle, which gets a workout, by the way. I use this a lot. And then I use instant coffee, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Because I have a 12-gallon propane tank, it lasts me almost 3 weeks, maybe longer. And because I always travel to find the good weather, I rarely need my heater. So the only other thing using propane is my refrigerator. And when it's time to wash up in the morning, I do the same thing. I grab my kettle, put a little water in there, and once it's hot, I take it off the stove, just pour it in a bowl, and I have hot water to wash up with. This routine helps to stay clean in between showers. So I want to add that the things I use propane for, and I love propane because it lasts a long time, are my refrigerator. That runs off of propane when I'm not connected to shore power. It can run off of electric as well, but if I'm not connected, propane's the way to go. So my refrigerator, my stove runs off of propane. My hot water heater, which I really don't use very often, it takes so long for the water to heat up. So it's just as easy to use my kettle to heat up water and quicker. So I really rely on my propane to work because I use the heck out of it. And it lasts a long time. So why not? So as you can see here, I use Spray Dawn Power Wash to soap up my dishes before I even turn on the water. I get everything soapy and washed up, and then when I turn on the water to rinse everything, I definitely turn it on very low to rinse. And I always turn the faucet back off when I am just making simple movements like putting the plate up to the dry pad, and then turn it back on to rinse again. This method has worked for me when I'm dry camping to conserve on water. So I have never run out, and my gray tanks have never been super full. I also wanted to point out that I never drink water out of my RV holding tanks. I use my Berkey water filter system, and I just fill it up with these water bottles that I store in the shower, take them back to my Berkey, and fill up the system. Run it through here and fill up my drinking water here. So every couple of weeks I take the filters out. I scrub them lightly with a soft sponge to clean off any buildup that's on the filters, put them back in, and I'm good to go for another couple of weeks. So this is another great tip on conserving your water that you have on board in the RV that I usually use for washing dishes, an occasional shower, flushing toilets, things like that. And I have this whole system attached to the wall back here with a D-ring brackets and a bungee here to secure it. So I've never had a problem with it bouncing around or falling over. I will say this though, try to have it as empty as you can have it for travel days, because there have been times that if I have it too full down here, the water will sometimes leak out of here, the seal. Okay, let's discuss power. Right behind this curtain that I hung up is my Jackery, which I use. I keep my USB charging cable here, and in the mornings when my phone is dying down, I recharge it off of this. This is 1,000 watts, which is all I have needed. I don't have an inverter in the RV, so if I need to plug something in, I just plug it in here, and it works just fine. So that has worked for me. I also use all this back here for storage. As you can see, it can be converted into another bed, but I don't need it. So that's where I keep my Jackery when I am boondocking. I also wanted to add that I can just take this down when I need to recharge it, move it outside, and I hook the solar panel that I bought that goes with it to recharge it. And it usually takes, oh, I don't know, about an hour or so to recharge it. I'll let it get down to about 70%, and it doesn't take long to get it back up to 100. So any gadgets that I buy, I make sure that they are all under 1,000 watts to plug in here. And on travel days, I'll move it down here under the dinette. And if I don't want to see all of this, I just shut the curtain and I'm good to go. Okay, so let's talk lighting at night. To conserve on my RV battery power, I like to use this light because I can recharge it the next day on my generator with a USB connection, or I could even plug it into the RV with its charging cable when I'm getting good solar power to recharge it that way. And I like this because it changes into all these cool colors, and I can just grab it and move it around with me as I'm doing things at night in the RV. I'll take it into the bathroom when I'm washing up, and as you can see, there's the port to recharge it. Really simple. And it conserves on your battery power at night. It usually lasts 3 nights before I have to recharge it again. So if I absolutely need more light at night, and if it's going to be just for a few minutes, I'll go ahead and turn on the little RV lights that they provide. And if it's just going to be for a few minutes, I'm okay with that. And they do give plenty of light, as you can see. It's not quite dark yet, but the sun is starting to go down here. But hopefully all these tips might help you whenever you decide to get on the road or get in an RV or van, and try to conserve on energy when you're boondocking and not plugged in. And yes, my RV does have an onboard generator. So if worse comes to worse, I turn on the generator to use bigger appliances, which isn't very often. If I use the microwave, it'll be for a couple of minutes. That's it. I can't stand the loud noise, and I know everybody else around me doesn't want to hear that either. So I use it as little as possible, but I am grateful that I have the generator on board in case I do need it. So as you can hear in these clips, you can really see how loud the generators are. Well, like I said, I am grateful I have it, and when I need it, it's there. Okay, guys, that's really it. I really wanted to make this video just to show you that you don't need a lot to get out there and boondock or dry camp. I mean, I have one house battery. It's a lead acid, which I want to replace. They're not the best. Eventually, I'd like to switch to lithium, but I have to do more research to see how that works. And I have one 190 watt solar panel up on the roof. So that's all I have to keep my battery charged. So it's really important for me to learn how to conserve on battery life and to conserve on water and to keep from filling up my tanks. I mean, the longer I can stay out there without having to run back into town to dump tanks, the better off. I can normally go the full 14 days if I'm very conservative. There's nothing better than being out there and just relaxing in nature and not having to worry about having to run back into town to resupply. So thank you all for coming along. I really appreciate you being here. Stay tuned because I am going to be packing up for Quartzsite. That's coming up. I have several meetups that I'm going to be going to, and I'm going to be volunteering at the RTR this year, or the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. I'm going to be handing out cold weather gear to those in need. So come on by, say hi, chat for a while, and thanks again for coming along. I really hope these tips will help you next time you go boondocking. Take care, be well, and peace.